Don't give up!
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Quirkless Deku got anti-magic and unlocked Asta's demon mode movie. Before we start, please go support Nikopou for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. Clarifications. The first one was about an Izuku with the anti-magic of Asta. The second one was about an Izuku trying to make a name for himself without the help of his family. Izuku will be serious, direct and more aggressive. This is because of the problems with his family and fiancé, but this is only with them. When it is with another, he is only direct, and this is because he has no friends, meaning that in this story, Izuku and Bakugo do not know each other. 3. The relationship between Izuku and his fiancé. When the first chapter is uploaded, you will know who she is. Will improve with time since, well, I better not say it. 4. Most likely Todoroki will get along very well since they are very similar, so you can already get the idea. Like Quirk awakening. Person speaking, person thinking, action, place, time of everything, yo Nikopou. Izuku Midoriya's life is perfect, 2 parents who love him, a brother who is a prodigy, a huge house with an elegant room with several maids, thanks to the wealth of his parents, and a beautiful fiancé who is the same age as him, 15 years old. Oh, that's what the public sees, but in truth his father doesn't love him. His brother doesn't consider him part of the family, and his fiancée doesn't love him. Well, it's understandable since it's an arranged marriage, but oh well, and the reason is because his quirk hasn't manifested yet, making people think he's quirkless. Is that how it's spelled right? His mother is the only one who doesn't hate him, but Izuku notices that she doesn't pay attention, except to his older brother who is 20 years old. Just so you know, Inko is 41 and his father is 43. Prestigious random school. We see Izuku in a dark brown uniform and he was stuck to the window like the good protagonist that he is. And well, that was the Tenyu family. Now we will talk about the Midoriya family, said the teacher, who was a guy with glasses and hair slicked back and was wearing a grey suit. This comment from the teacher made Izuku clench his fists and start clenching them. The teacher talked about the members, and when he said Izuku's he added something that made Izuku upset. Izuku Midoriya, the youngest son, was expected to be like his brother, but we were very wrong, implying Izuku's lack of quirk and his way of being. While doing this, they started whispering things about the youngest son of the Midoriya family, making him angrier. Luckily for Izuku, it was the last class, so he didn't have to wait long. At the end of class, Izuku got up from his desk to go to his locker since his things were there, but 6 students blocked his way. This shit again, what do they want? Annoyed. Imagine him in a brown uniform. We want to give you back what you did to us yesterday, and I brought more people jumping towards Izuku. Izuku moved to the right side and was going to hit him on the back of the head, but he saw another student heading towards him. First blocking with his arms. The student sent a right hook that was covered by a rock, but it was blocked by Izuku. Haha, you won't be able to win. Quirkless laughing, and everyone threw themselves at Asia Izuku. Some time later. We see Izuku sitting at a desk. He looked tired and with some blood, but nothing exaggerated, but he had scratches and was a bit dirty. Around him were 5 of the 6 students lying on the floor. They were also dirty and had scratches, and 1 or 2 with some blood. The last one left because he was scared. Ah damn, this time they hit hard. Sigh, I have to hurry or he will get angry. A little annoyed. Izuku managed to lift with the little strength he had. It was always like that, he was discriminated against for being quirkless, and they always tried to intimidate him since the teachers did nothing. They just went to do their class, and that's it. But well, the other students tried to intimidate him, but Izuku did not let them, and he always fought and always won, but he ended up worse with those who tried to intimidate him. Even so, he is aware that he will not be able to face the masses, so he began to train his technique when it came to fighting. He started at 12 so as not to be making random attacks and have an advantage when he faced many. Even so, he had a lot to learn. Izuku decided to clean the dirt off his face and arms, went to his locker to pick up his things, and left that shitty school, and now we see him going through a tunnel. Scratches his hair after that. Now I have to go home and put up with my old man and my brother. A little annoyed and thoughtful. But suddenly he felt an instinct to kill, making him turn around to see something that looked like mud. Is it surprised? The mud thing caught Izuku and began to suffocate him. Shit, what the hell, putting up with what they were doing to him. Izuku tried to break free and escape from the villain, but failed. A few minutes passed and bad diction, no poo, starting to faint. Doja, how easy it was. I wonder what quirk you have. Hey wait, you are. Izuku managed to hear something the mud thing said, but he fainted. Seriously, are you going to die like this? It's a shame. Sarcasm. How pathetico, the bars are breaking. Maybe it's because you're about to die. Well, what does it matter? Now you can use my power. I hope you use it very well. Izuku Midoriya smiling. Hisashi, it's time to pay the other part of the deal. Back with the mud villain and Izuku. But what? Surprised. Suddenly a black aura begins to damage the mud villain. I won't angry and taking out a lot of demonic power. I think this Izuku is a combination with Mob, but I think it passes V. Suddenly, as the aura increased, the villain decided to release Izuku since it was starting to hurt him. But what the buck? Seeing Izuku, who now had his arm, something on the right side of his chest, and the part of his face was a black tone apart from the face, it looked like a flame shape, and his right eye went from green to red, giving him a more awesome look, plus he had a horn and a kind of dark wing on the right side, and his teeth grew so much that they came out of his mouth. V. What the hell are you? Somewhat scared. I'm just a 15-year-old boy who's fed up with his family. Running towards the villain. Wait, young man. Man's voice. Huh? Turning to look. You already know it's Almight, so I won't describe it. Almight surprised. Leave this to me, young man. I'm a professional. Getting ahead and getting ready. Damn, I had a lot of fun with the demon boy trying to escape. Hex's smash. Pumps a fist in the air. The fist was so strong that it created a blizzard and caused the mud villain to scatter all over the place, meaning everything went to shit. It's already a tradition that All Might throws a punch and says everything went to shit. V. Incredible, I've seen a punch thrown several times, but it doesn't compare to seeing it. With your own eyes, surprised. Grabbing his right side. The wind calmed down and the mud villain was seen everywhere. The have very good Losi turning around. All Might stopped talking as he saw Izuku lying on the floor clutching his right arm. Young man passing by approaching and kneeling with his left foot. It hurts. Voice broke and you could tell he was suffering. This is Lightning Hope's youngest son. Give me a moment, Vo worried. All Might stopped talking as he saw that the boy's right side was dark, more specifically on his hand, and a tattoo formed that looked like a 5-leaf clover. But what? He saw that Izuku fainted, although he doesn't know it. All Might decided to approach Izuku's chest exactly where his heart is. It's still beating. Getting up, I guess I'll call the hospital. Dialing to call. Besides, as far as I know, the youngest son of the Midoriyas was Quirkless, but then what was that? Seeing the 5-leaf clover, I guess I'll have to tell Lightning Hope about what I saw. 8 hours later, Midoriya Mansion, 11:34 p.m. During all that time Izuku had nightmares and always saw the demon, but in a blurry way. We see Izuku lying on his bed, he was moving and sweating. Clutching his right arm, breathing quickly but slowly, calming down. This is my room, calming down. Damn, what time is it? Turning around to grab his phone and check the time. It's 11:35. The time I'm supposed to leave is at 2, but those guys made me late, and so remembering the encounter between that mud thing, it's true. Looking at his right side, a 5-leaf clover. Seeing the dark clover, typical noise when he's hungry. He hasn't had lunch or dinner. Getting up, it's okay if I eat a little. Opening the door, although at that moment remembering when he was in that state, I guess the clover and that are connected. Looking at his hand. The next day. Izuku-sama knocking on the door. Yes. A little dark circles. Izuku-sama, it's weird to see him awake so early. Surprised. I couldn't sleep. Scratching hair. I see, well, I just came to tell you that breakfast is ready and your family is already at the table. I see, well, could you look for my clothes to go to school? Walking down the hallway. This Izuku-sama's father actually doesn't want you to go to school because he wants to talk to you. That comment from the maid made Izuku surprised. You already know. Serious. Fine, thank you, you can go. Returning to walking. Family table. We see the Midoriya family. Let's start with his father. Hisashi Midoriya had messy blonde hair, blue eyes. For being 43 he looked very good. He was somewhat muscular and tall, 1.90, white skin. Even so, if you can't imagine it, you can compare it with Thor since they are very similar, but I won't put an image since I can't find it. V. Now his mother Inko Midoriya, same as canon, only she was thin. And finally is Ako Midoriya, I'm not good at making names, who was the spitting image of his father, blonde hair, but his eyes were like his mother's, which were green. He was tall, 1.75. Just imagine he's blonde and that's it. V. Everyone was wearing normal clothes, that is, they dressed elegantly but comfortably except for his Ako, who wore that. Oh, good morning, son. Smiling, Inko. Good morning. Sitting down in a neutral face. The table was long, but on the right side were Hisashi and Inko, and on the left side were Izuku and his Ako. Oh, little brother, how are you? Raising his arm to put it on Izuku's right shoulder. You love acting, don't you? Good, Oni-san, giving a fake smile. Well, I think you can already imagine what the table looks like, so let's continue with the story. Some time later. Izuku, you're not going to school today. I think you already know why. Smiling fakely. Yes, father, a little serious and annoyed, but tried not to let it show. Okay, I'll send Suri to tell you what time you have. Okay. Suri is the maid who was with Izuku a while ago. She's like one of the most important maids in the Midoriya house, thanks to her quirk. Hey father. Okay, you can go now, is Ako. You're going out on patrol today, right? Izuku is a professional hero, she's in the top 12. If it's my turn today, I'll be late getting up. Well, I have nothing to tell you, son, so you might as well retire, smiling. Okay, goodbye dad, goodbye mom, leaving the dining room. Now there were only Inko and Hisashi. Honey, are you going to talk to Izuku about his quirk? Curious. That's love, like any parent is interested in their child's quirk, especially when it's a case like Izuku, smiling at Inko. Would you let me be there too? But love you must be. Hisashi couldn't continue because Inko started looking at him in an ugly way. But love. Inko took out her cell phone. Arumi. Yes, Inko-sama. Could you take care of the paperwork for a few hours? Sure, Inko-sama, thank you very much, Arumi, smiling. You're welcome, Inko-sama. Fine. So you can go. Damn, I wanted to apologize to Izuku for everything I did and get over him, but oh well. Mini flashback. We see Hisashi walking in his mansion, but suddenly his cell phone starts ringing. Almight. If I say that my son is unconscious. He's in the hospital fine, and now what the hell did you do? What did Izuku have surprised? Could it be another miracle? Smiling, that damn deal was the best decision of my bucking life, making a somewhat crooked smile. End of mini flashback. In the end, that bastard only did it to scare me, remembering something from the past. 2 hours later. We see Izuku sitting on the other side where his parents were sitting. Izuku was wearing a dark green shirt, black jeans and red sneakers, while his father was wearing a suit but without the jacket, and his mother was wearing formal clothes. I suppose they have names, but I don't remember. Very well, Izuku, I think you can already imagine why we called you. If I think I can get an idea, and it's my quirk. Serious. That's right, son, but you have to be so serious, we are your parents, so you can be more calm, smiling at him. Well, I think I was wrong to bring Inko, maybe Izuku will soften and everything will be easier, smiling, but it was just a mask. Well, I've been trying to manifest my quirk for a while now, and I think I know what it's like, closing his eyes and concentrating. Well, it actually took me longer, but they don't care, remembering that after eating something he tried to activate his quirk. Both Hisashi and Inko began to observe him until they began to see that something dark was beginning to surround Izuku. Then Inko and Hisashi noticed that the clover you just saw began to grow, making Izuku's entire arm, part of his chest, and part of his face have a dark tone, apart from the red eye, the grown tooth, the horn, the red clover that was in the same position as the previous one, and the wing. The Kai, but he doesn't have the sword, and it's in the room, and I was wrong, the clover is all red, not red, and inside black. Another day I'll fix it. But it shouldn't be golden and shiny like Hisashi, surprised and somewhat scared by Izuku's appearance. Is it him? No, it isn't him, otherwise I would have done something, but I feel something quite similar when I was before you. Demon, is there something far superior to Izuku? Surprised. I think they're surprised seeing their parents' faces. I'm going to deactivate it since the last time it started to hurt me deactivating it. When everything returned to the clover that was back in black that was on his arm, Izuku felt some pain all over the part where the darkness covered him. Grabbing right arm. Son, are you okay? Getting up. Yes, I think it's a side effect, but I'm fine. Amazing, standing up. I know for sure that you are my son, putting his hands on Izuku's shoulders. Hisashi, every time I see that money has made you more stupid. Do you think Izuku will forget everything we did to him? Feeling bad, but on the outside he was smiling. Damn piece of shit, now that I have a quirk, think that with that smile I'll forget everything. Very angry, but on the outside he was smiling. Thank you, father. It was hard for him to say that just in case. Haha, fine, from now on you'll train and I'll enroll you in the UA, the academy where your brother went, giving a fake smile. Thank you very much, father. I hope you're asshole, I will never consider you a father. Well, for now you can go. By the way, Psycho is coming today. In case you forgot who Psycho was. We told her to come so she can analyze your quirk in depth. After all, she is your fiancé, and she has to know what kind of quirk you have. It's really noticeable that it's just an excuse, right XD? See you soon. Quickly leaving the private room. Damn, how dare he say that to me? Does he really think that with a little attention he's going to beat me? Hahaha, how stupid. Angry. Hello, Atoto, smiling. He was behind Izuku and leaned against a hallway wall. Brother, surprised. What are you doing here? And white and confused. I'm not the original. I asked the maid Suri to make a clone of me. I guess you know why. Smiling. Is it the conversation I had with that shit? And mother raising an eyebrow. Yes, I think so. Well, to be honest, I didn't like what I heard. He was serious and seemed upset. Izuku felt his brother's killing instinct, and it certainly affected him. He hated to admit it, but Izuku was much stronger than him. Are you upset that I have a quirk? Also bringing out his killing instinct. Haha, that's what you call killing instinct, increasing his instinct more, and I don't give a shit if he has a quirk or not. What I can't stand is that father starts to like you. You are someone who doesn't deserve to be part of this family. Very upset. I don't give a shit what you think, and the father thing is that he's just a jerk who's just pretending activating his quirk and accidentally increasing his killing instinct. But what's somewhat surprised, but didn't show it. And if it were up to me I would have liked not to be. Izuku couldn't continue as he saw a platinum-haired girl. Oh, I'm interrupting something so that's Izuku's quirk. It's a little scary, but that makes it more interesting gives a small smile. She's wearing this, but it's white so ignore that blush V. Not at all, this is just a discussion that we always have, oh no, Atoto smiling. Izuku simply looked at him and deactivated his quirk, which he just noticed he had activated. Izuku walked up to Izuku and bent down to say something to him. This time you were saved, little brother. I'm going to be back late, but tomorrow we'll play. Recovering his walk. Izuku just turned around and looked at him with contempt, but suddenly he felt a stronger pain again. I am falling to the floor, but leaning against the wall I think I got carried away. What's wrong with you? Come on. Stomps on his hand they called me to see and analyze your quirk. You don't give me orders, you crazy sadist opening one eye and somewhat annoyed. You better shut up putting his hand between Izuku's mouth and serious, if it weren't for your father who is a great friend of mine, I wouldn't have gotten together with a quirkless weakling well at least he's not quirkless anymore, so girls carry him let's go to the living room it will be more comfortable there. Hi Psycho-sama. There were 5 maids that Psycho brought and they were all women. Midoriya mansion living room. Well, from what little you know, your quirk allows you to enter that state that you called single wing demon V, because of the only wing that comes out Izuku nods, but it was obvious he didn't want to be there. You also say that in that state everything about you increases, such as strength, speed, etc. Oh, am I wrong? You're not wrong. Well, one of my maids met your mother and confirmed that you're going to be a hero and that you're going to study at UA, right? Izuku nods. Well this could be a start for us giving a small smile. What the hell are you saying, Psycho? A little annoyed. I say that you are finally worthy of being my fiancé, now all that's left is for you to train and… Psycho couldn't continue as Izuku interrupted her. Do you really think I'll forget all the shit you did to me? I thought you were smarter with that 150 IQ you had smiling. This comment made Psycho stop smiling and Izuku gets slapped by the maids. You're so brave to slap me when you're just a simple maid. And what do you think the youngest son of the Midoriya family hits maids, huh Izuku smiling again. And what would happen if I digested all the abuse I had to endure serious and a dead look? At first the press won't believe you because everyone sees you as someone lucky. Second all the servants are faithful to your father they would say absolutely nothing. Third, your father knows people in the press and could easily alter the story to make you look bad. And fourth nobody likes you because of your annoying, serious, depressing and somewhat aggressive attitude everyone prefers someone who smiles, is social and nice like your brother. Izuku Asia's hair didn't show his eyes, but he was clearly trying not to explode. What's up, you're speechless. Well, what was expected from the black sheep of the Midoriyas? Psycho and Telly you better shut that bucking mouth of yours launching his instinct to kill his fiancé or I myself will make sure you can never speak with that little mouth again. Izuku said those words so calmly that it was terrifying and it didn't help that his eyes didn't emit light. Not bad, well, I'll give this information to your father and you'd better get used to me because in the end they brought us together to get married getting up and leaving the place with her maids. Izuku brought his hand to his face curse she's right damn you father sigh and now I'll have to go to a hero academy. I have to train with my quirk to shut everyone's mouths so that he understands that they shouldn't mess with Izuku Midoriya seeing the 5-leaf clover that was in his hand, 5-leaf demon equals 5-leaf demon. The training and entrance test part 1. 1 week later. Izuku Midoriya was forced to train with his quirk to have more control in perfecting it, even though he was forced he really thought about doing that, so he was not angry with the order his father gave him. Midoriya Mansion training place. Now we see Izuku in his demon mode, he was wearing black shorts and green sneakers, he wasn't wearing anything on his top and you could see a muscular body, although nothing exaggerated for a 15-year-old boy, like the image above, but he wasn't dirty, but he was sweating V. Izuku was just standing there, although it was clearly visible that it was difficult for him to maintain that state. After all, he has been like this for an hour. The good thing is that the place had no roof and air was able to pass through, preventing Izuku's body from burning and allowing him to remain calm. However, a voice coming from the door to reach that place sounded and it was clearly feminine. So here you were giving a small smile. What are you doing here Psycho deactivating demon mode and seemed a little annoyed. I was thinking of having tea with your mother, but she told me that you were starting training today and I wanted to see what you were doing since I'm bored, but it seems like you're just standing there doing nothing sitting on a chair you're in the pools, one of her maids brought it, who were 3 at that moment. Psycho wore her school uniform V. Izuku just looked at her for a few seconds and decided to wipe the sweat with a towel that was on a portable table. On that table there were also water bottles and other extra towels just in case. Izuku wiped some of the sweat, drank some water and prepared to reactivate his quirk, but Psycho spoke to him, interrupting him at the moment. "Hey, haven't you thought about using a weapon, or do you always think about using your fists?" "The weapon, I don't know, it never crossed my mind, after all, my fists have served me all this time." Looking at his fist. "I didn't have a shirt or polo or whatever you want to call it, and I didn't have any wounds. I think you should try it. In my case I use a metal rod for combat. If you don't know what it is, it's that crap that Robin used in Teen Titans V. Well, I could use a katana, right? I think I should start with the classics." Turns to Psycho. Psycho ordered one of the maids to bring a wooden katana, and Izuku felt a little strange. After all, it is very rare to have a very calm conversation with Psycho. They always argued, and almost always it was because of the same problem of being committed. He did not like being paired with someone who did not have feelings, and for Psycho he thought it was because his quirk would not have manifested. A few minutes later. "Here is the katana." Psycho-sama trained the wooden katana to Psycho. "Well, grab broccoli," throwing the katana at an annoyed Izuku. "You better not call me that crazy again," grabbing the katana and making Psycho angry. Izuku tested the katana by moving and trying some things until. "Okay, how about this?" Closing his eyes and activating his quirk. Darkness began to appear on Izuku's right side, and when he reached the katana, it began to change shape, making Izuku, Psycho and their maids put their eyes on the katana, which was now black with red touches. But what, seeing the katana that gave off a dark aura? Izuku put his left finger on the katana. He didn't feel it cut, but he started to feel pain in his finger. That's the reason why Izuku has a hard time maintaining his quirk. His skin can't stand the demon part, and when he meets Izuku it starts to hurt. Even so, the more he uses it, his skin will get used to that state and he won't feel as much pain. I mean, what that red line points to, that's the part where Izuku feels pain, since demonic power isn't made for humans to use, but Izuku manages to get used to the pain and lower his power, so he doesn't feel so much pain. Even so, Izuku's darkness is fatal to humans, since part of inflicting immense pain, just touching it can damage the skin if a body maintains contact for a while, something similar to what Shigaraki does with his little hands. The difference would be that Shigaraki's expands while Izuku's only expands where he is making contact with something. Interesting. Getting up from his seat and approaching Izuku, although he kept his distance. "Lose my quirk can happen to things if I have them in my right hand. Rather than passing on your own power, modify them to be more efficient and attractive to the eye." The katana has flown incredibly light apart, stabbing the sword into the floor. The sword shattered the ground as if it were nothing. "Well, I guess I'll start training with this," taking it off the floor. "Well, without me you would never have known that your quirk could do that, so where's my thanks?" Making a little smile. At lost, annoyed. Later. We see Izuku walking down a hallway in the mansion. Psycho left after finishing her training. After taking a good bath, she was now wearing a green shirt, black jeans, and red sneakers. Izuku was heading to his room to take a nap, but someone put his hand on Izuku's shoulder. "Hello," Atoto smiling. As soon as he heard that, Izuku walked away as quickly as possible and turned around to see his dear brother, who was smiling calmly. Imagine him blonde. "What the hell do you want? Serious? It seems you've already forgotten. I haven't had time this week, but I'm finally free to spend some time with my little brother." Activating his quirk. Izuku began to glow and grew golden wings. "I'm not at 100%." Activating his quirk. Izuku didn't have time to activate Izuku's quirk and grabbed him by the neck to slam him into the wall. "I'm sorry, but I won't give you time to transform." Squeezing Izuku's neck tighter. Like when Izuku first activated his quirk, he suddenly entered his demon state and put his hands on his brother's arm and tried to remove the hold he had on his neck, but it was in vain, since Izuku put more power into her quirk, increasing its strength, causing it to instead light up with the light it gave off. Her starting to despair. What's going on here? Worried and scared. Suddenly Inko appears on the scene, scared by what she saw. Well, since it's too lazy to describe what she wears, imagine something elegant, and that's it. Oh, he's got some shitty luck again. Whispering to Izuku, "Ah, it's okay, mom, did Izuku do something that made me mad or not? Little brother." Changing his voice to a happier one and smiling. Izuku simply nodded, but his eyes were hidden by his hair. By this time they were already deactivating their quirks. "But Izuku, don't you think you were already going too far?" Approaching. "Yes, but," looking at his mother. Izuku stopped talking as her cell phone started ringing. "Oh, give me a moment, it must be important to call me on my break." Moving away a little. Meanwhile, the brother's mother approached the younger son. "Izuku, are you okay?" Rubbing his cheek. Izuku was going to tell the truth, but he saw that his brother turned a little to look at him, and it wasn't because, yes, it is because. Flashback. Midoriya Mansion father's personal room. We see an 8-year-old Izuku and a 13-year-old Izako. In front of them is their father wearing a white suit. Well, the boys wore boys' clothes, there's no need to complicate things, just make something up. Well, I brought them because I think it's time to give her the last rule, and these are for 2 of them, so Izako, you're not safe this time. Last time I said that Thor could be referenced, but this son of a bitch doesn't deserve it, so his appearance now is the second villain of Sao from the first season, that gay guy who had the generic girl, Asuna V, locked up. You already remember, no you. Izako was angry after all, it was his first rule that his father gave him, now he felt that he was at the level of his younger brother. Very well, father, calm voice. Well, the rule is simple and so far surprisingly they haven't broken it. That comment made the brothers pay all their attention to their father. Your mother, my beloved Inko, is everything to me, more than your Izako and all other people. So where does that put me? Curious and a little sad. You're second place, so don't make that face, my son, messing up Izako's hair. And I father, Izuku. You better shut up, if you ever get your quirk there maybe you can talk to me, he said it with hate. Izuku simply nodded while his brother smiled. I order you to never, ever bother your mother or make her feel bad, much less cry. She is very special, and I don't want to see a sad expression on her beautiful face, do you hear me? I'm not playing around. If I ever find out something like that, I swear that. End of the flashback. Yes, I'm fine, mother, don't worry. Izako wasn't putting in that much effort smiling, but her hair covered her greenish eyes. Inko seemed to hesitate for a few seconds, but in the end she believed her son. After all, they are brothers. What could happen? Try to kill each other? Ha, yeah, right. Ryuko-chan que pasa? Both Izuku and Inko heard Izako talking to Ryuko, the heroine number 9, who was Izako's girlfriend. Okay now. Sai, okay, I'm going, but get ready for that. His eyes turned to his brother and his mother for a second. Okay, there, I see you hanging up, mom, I'm going. OUT, I think you understood what you were talking about, right? On your break, a little surprised. If I go with Ryuko-chan on a mission abroad, I'll be away for a few weeks. I see, well, get ready and be careful. I'll warn, Hisashi, smiling. Okay, goodbye, mom, and goodbye, little brother, walking away. Why, everyone's so annoying right now, and I wanted to spend time with Izuku. Annoyed. Now there were only Izuku and Inko, and the situation was a little awkward since neither of them spoke, but in the end Inko spoke. Okay son, I'm going to be in the yard for a while, if you need anything I'm there. Going to the yard. Izuku just headed to his room. Sai, at least I won't see that asshole for a few weeks. He put his hand on his right arm. Damn, it's starting to hurt again. 7 months later, I don't remember when this is happening, but oh well. Well, here it is. Psycho had her exam last week, and they just told her yesterday that if she got in, Psycho's exam was between girls. We see an Izuku in his brown uniform walking towards the entrance of the UA because, well, his father recommended him as a hero, so he has to take a special exam with other young talents. During all this time many things happened, the main one would be the third encounter that he and his brother had, who returned too late. Izako said a couple of weeks and returned after 5 months, all because of a snake-loving villain who was an expert escape artist. But before telling that interesting fight that was interrupted again, we must talk about our protagonist who improved considerably. The most important thing would be that being active in demon mode every day, he got used to the pain, both physically and psychologically, managing to stay in that state for at least 7 hours, and if he got more power, the time was reduced, but it was already a good time that he could stay. Other things were that he could store certain things on the dark side, just by supporting something like the katana on the dark side, it got in, and with that Izuku only thinks about using it. He left the dark side, but the strange thing is that it only accepted weapons, making it impossible to use as an infinite inventory. It's nothing for the guy to excuse, the reason is because the demon allows it to enter, and not only that the katana was entered, because I don't expect it to learn this so quickly, and touches something that entered once it can always be saved, but now the demon is attentive to see what enters or what not be. Even so, Izuku was happy because since he transformed that katana, he decided to try some other weapon, making him currently have 3 guard weapons. One was the wooden katana, he brought it only because it doesn't cut, and that made it possible to use it in the UA. The other was a large sword that forced him to use his 2 hands, while the last one was more normal, but with a more efficient design, making it the fastest of the 3 he had. From there on his strength improved somewhat. Flashback. 5 months have passed and Izako arrives back in Japan. Midoriya's house. We see Izuku training, he was wearing a black shirt, black shorts and green sneakers. This time Psycho wasn't there, and although it bothered him, Izuku had to admit that having Psycho's company made training entertaining, but he didn't expect that day he was going to see something more exciting waiting for him. Hello, Atoto, smiling, he was wearing a suit but without the jacket. Thanks for disappearing for 5 months. Serious but smiling. I had enough time to get stronger. Turning away. I was wearing the clothes I described a while ago. Izuku was not surprised to see his brother slowly descend with the golden wings. After all, he was known as the hero Detenshi equals Archangel, thanks to the fact that he was one of the few people to possess 2 quirks that obviously belonged to his father and mother. Do not forget that the training place has no roof, it is open. Stop talking nonsense. Even if you've become stronger, you won't be able to beat me. Smiling, but he was serious. I think now we won't have any trouble since father isn't here. Remembering how he spoke to Inko and told her that he went out for a while. Both brothers looked into each other's eyes as they began to activate their respective quirks. I would have made a UI image, but that was lazy. V is transforming faster. Seeing that the darkness was going faster. I already told you that I'm not going to give you time. He left at full speed with the help of his wings. Izuku was about to hit Izuku's face, but she didn't expect her little brother to pull out a sword out of nowhere that gave off darkness and block the fist as if it was nothing. Not this time, idiot. Smiling and pushing Izuku. Izuku made a horizontal cut, not that he cut the wooden katana, but I don't know how to refer to a katana attack, but Izuku quickly blocked the attack with her arms and was thus pushed a few meters. That katana is bathed in that darkness that Izuku gives off. Does its aura hurt? Squinting. Wow, I didn't expect that. Where did you get that from? And why the hell would I tell you? Seriously? So that's how it is, huh? Okay, no problem. I guess I'll get a little serious. Creates a spear of golden light. Izuku threw the spear of light towards Izuku at great speed. Izuku managed to move a little, causing the spear to cut his cheek. Wow, not bad, if only I had killed you in the old days. Smiling. You're bucking with me, I didn't even see it, I just moved because I saw that he was creating that surprised. Izuku charged Izuku at high speed again, but Izuku being unpainted didn't see it, causing him to fall on his knees from his brother. Izuku flew away, but Izuku wasn't going to stay there. She quickly caught up with Izuku and created a sword of light and made a vertical cut, but Izuku recovered and blocked his brother's attack with his sword, but Izuku's force was so strong that Izuku crashed into the ground, destroying the hard concrete and raising a lot of smoke. I think I went too far, slowing down and getting closer to where Izuku crashed. Izuku stopped flying and faced the hole her little brother had made. Whistle. Hey, are you still alive or what? The smoke began to disperse and you could see a dirty Izuku with bruises and bleeding a little on his face. His shirt was a little torn. This is nothing. Slowly getting up. Ignore the raise. Good, because that was a warm-up. Now serious. What are they supposed to do? Annoyed. Suddenly a voice sounded on the scene, making Izuku fall silent and the brothers surprised. Father. Surprised, Izuku. Father whispering and surprised. It was Hisashi who was at the door of the training area. Hisashi began to approach an Izuku who was coming out of that hole and an Izuku who turned around to face her father. Hi, was father helping Izuku with his training or not? Herma. Izuku couldn't continue because Hisashi interrupted her. Izuku, stop lying. I know very well. Or what were you trying? Seriously? I surprised. Izuku did not continue as she received a slap from Hisashi. I didn't think I had to do this, but well Izuku, I forbid you from attacking Izuku. That comment made Izuku and Izuku open their eyes a little. The father. Good thing you heard, I hope you don't break it, otherwise you know what's going to happen. Seriously. Hi, and I wanted to say that now I'm top 7. You may as well leave. Approaching Izuku. Are you okay, my son? Izuku was already walking away, but he clearly managed to hear what his father said and was incredibly furious. Yes, father, upset by the situation he was in. Very well, even so I already called the maids to check your wounds. Making a little smile. Do. Then flashback. Present day 7:20 am, 16-year-old Izuku. Here those who are in recognition take a separate exam, and since they don't know a thing, I'll create some things, okay. Izuku saw a man wearing a garbadina and a tight black suit with yellow stripes, apart from a rare case of black color, ectoplasm. Hello, I'm Izuku Midoriya. Oh, the son of Lightning Hope. Sorry, what a shitty name. You don't have to tell me, I already said he was bad at making names, or in this case, nicknames, or however you want to say it. Okay, come with me to the schoolyard, the exam is being taken there. Starting to walk. Hi, following the pro hero. How do you see the academy? Izuku saw the huge, incredibly beautiful building. Well, it's very nice to look at. Looking at the building. How good. After all, the director had a hard time how he wanted the academy to look. The director? Will he be at the exam? Yes, in fact there will be some teachers, most of them are from the heroes course. We will be grading to see who gets in and who doesn't. I see. Are there already participants in the kickoff? If about 3 of the 20 who will attend have any more questions, we are almost there. No, that's okay. Well, we're here. Izuku saw a very large courtyard. In the middle there were 3 people his age, and of those 3, only one stood out for his height and incredibly short hair, while on the right side, there was a small stage to make a speech, and behind that were the teachers. They were all sitting in quality chairs. It was the courtyard where class 1 took physical tests. No doubt all the teachers were interesting, although I didn't know any of them. Izuku saw a kind of hunting with a suit, a grey humanoid being, a little old lady with a robe and a pink visor, a blonde with glasses, and who transmitted a lot of vibe. A humanoid dog, a guy who seemed to be on drugs, a muscular cold chest with a red suit, a man or woman who wore astronaut clothes, a flat man with a yellow helmet that covered his face, a man who looked like he was from the Wild West, and a beautiful woman in a dominatrix outfit. Almight wasn't there, and the ones missing were Vlad King's cold chest, the recovery girl Dr. V. Izuku decided to come over and say hello. Good morning. Good morning. Teachers and principal. So you're Izuku Midoriya? It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Nezu, the director of UA. Shaking hands. The pleasure is mine. Accepting the handshake. I think you're the first one not to be surprised by my appearance. Well, I value someone's personality more than their appearance. That's good. It's a shame there are few people who think that way, but well, let's not get sidetracked for now. Wait for the other participants to arrive. Turning around and starting to walk to where the other 3 members are. And what did you think? From what they told us at his school he was a problem child, but I don't see any of that. I left the hero in midnight. Though maybe he's hiding it. Said the cement hero. From what I see at parties or public gatherings, I only see a boy who gets angry quickly, said the UA recovery girl's nurse. No matter the slightest aggression to another participant, get out of this place, said the hero Vlad King. And if it happens we'll be keeping an eye on it, said the hero Racerhead. Hey, don't you think they're going too far with the boy? Said the hero present Mick. Or maybe he's having some kind of trouble we don't know about. Ectoplasm said he was creating a clone to direct him to the UA entrance. You may be, but we can't get involved in that, said the director. Place where Izuku was approaching. Hey, isn't that the son of the 3rd hero? If you're wondering why they know him, it's because Hisashi didn't hide his family members, well he did with Todoroki Endeavor's family, and so on with Iida's, which he didn't hide, and Momo's family weren't heroes, so nothing was happening, of course. When Hisashi spoke about his youngest son, he always said he was a disappointment, that's why they call him the black sheep of the family or something like that. What the hell is he doing here if he doesn't have a quirk? Well, it's easier for us smiling. These comments made the 3rd of the participants run towards Izuku. Izuku watched as the tall guy with incredibly short hair came running towards him. Nice to meet you, I'm Inasa Urashi. Nice to meet you. Crouching so low he hit his head on the floor. I guess it's my pleasure, I'm Izuku Midoriya giving the order. You're the son of the number 3 hero. Squeezing Monero in an exaggerated way. Yes I am. I'm delighted to be able to compete with you on this exam. Smiling. Hi, this guy is very enthusiastic, a little annoyed. Some time later. There were already 19 of the 20 participants. Who do you think will be the last one missing? No idea, but it will obviously be someone with a very strong quirk. And just after saying that, the 20th participant arrives, who was a boy with half his hair white and the other red. Imagine a random uniform and that's it. Shoto Todoroki surprised. Do you know them? Curious. I know who he is, but I've never spoken to him. He's the son of the number 2 hero. The reason was because Endeavor didn't let people the same age get close to Shoto V if you forgot. This surprised Inasa. He's the son of. Don't say it so loud, covering his mouth. Yes, he is Endeavor's son, but this is private. Inasa was going to say something, but suddenly the director started talking. Okay, everyone, form 4 rows and have 5 participants in each row. Everyone started doing what Director Nezu said. Okay, everyone already knows me, but I'm still going to introduce myself. I'm Nezu, the director of UA Academy, and all these people are hero course teachers, along with some special guests like Power Loader and Recovery Girl. All participants turned to see those mentioned, all teachers only to the Power and the Recovery V. Well, this is how the exam will go. First, we will be mentioning the names of the participant, and the one we mention will advance to show us his quirk and will not tell a little about how he uses it well. Second, it will be a series of physical tests, but this time with his quirk to see how he uses it in different ways for each test, right? Third, will it be a written exam with 100 questions that will cover the Hero Coder Society, among other things. After that we will let you know next week if they passed or not, remember that only. Well, I hope I've been clear and understandable. Well, now I would like you to make a horizontal row. The participants did that and were now in a single horizontal row. Okay, before we start, I think it would be better if you wore more comfortable clothes, right? So put these on and head to the locker room. Cement-kun will guide you. A little while later. I wonder if they did this to attract us more to the UA. Seeing that they were wearing the academy's sportswear. Okay, let's start the exam. Nezu. The young man who had white hair and the other half red narrowed his eyes, and Asta was very animated, and Izuku bumped his fists and smiled like the protagonist. The entrance test part 2. UA courtyard. Okay, let's start the exam. 1. Quirk presentation and uses. The participants were called in order from A to Z, although they were recommended, Izuku didn't see anything interesting until Anasa was named. After all, moving the air in that way to form tornadoes and hurricanes was impressive, worthy of being recommended. Without a doubt, a fight with a tall shaved head would be very difficult. If Anasa fought as Akko, I wouldn't know who would win. Well, I think it would be my brother, but I think it would only be because he has experience. The participants continued passing, but when one of the participants left, Izuku advanced. If the teachers would mention who would be the next participant. Hey, they haven't said the participant is annoyed. The extra was interrupted by the director. Wait a minute. This made everyone turn to look at the director. In fact, it's his turn. That comment surprised some while others did not or simply did not take it seriously. Believed annoyed, and Izuku heard that but didn't say anything. Tell me, Izuku-kun, how did you know it was your turn? Nezu. This made everyone pay attention to the green-haired boy. It was simple. When I heard the last name of another participant, I noticed that they reached the letter M. From there were many possibilities that I would win, but the other thing about advancing at this moment was simply a coincidence, since I didn't know very well if there was another one with M as their first last name, but it seems that I was lucky. Smiling. I see, well, you know what to do. Nezu. Yes, I know. Sigh and closing my eyes. Months ago I had to concentrate to transform, and to top it off my transformation took 25 seconds, but now activating his quirk and opening his eyes. Just wishing for his quirk to activate, the darkness spread at great speed until it reached Izuku's face and part of his chest. Suddenly the atmosphere of the place changed, the temperature dropped a little, and the green-haired man released a killing instinct that tried to lower it, and the dark side released an aura that transmitted many negative things. Now it took him 5 seconds. The transformation surprised everyone, even the boy with the burn scar. After all, it was known that he didn't have a quirk or it hadn't manifested yet. Besides, Izuku's transformation was impressive and striking to behold. This boy surprised Aizawa. The killing instinct decreased considerably and the atmosphere returned more or less to where it was. For now I call this phase Black Clover. Seriously? Black Clover? Curious, everyone. Well, if I don't want to rack my brains looking for a cool name, if you don't like it, leave an idea, and if it's cool I'll change it. So, Black Clover, huh? I understand by black, and I suppose clover is because of that reddish clover on your right hand. Exactly, showing Nezu. I see, it sounds very good, and it has to do with his quirk. 1 point, midnight. It really looks good, but Cementus. His appearance resembles that of a villain, a little serious, ectoplasm. But you also look like a villain, said Snipe. What about me? If my appearance is super heroic. Ectoplasm was ignored. Apart from leaving that aura and that instinct, Aizawa. And well, Izuku-kun, tell me what things you can do in that state, Nezu. Well, in this state my strength, defense and speed increase considerably. The teachers were writing down the important things. Izuku said. Can you give us a demonstration? Fine, but with what? Looking for something to punch. Cementus-kun wouldn't do me a favor. With pleasure, creating a concrete cube in front of Izuku. Well, will this help moving so that when it hits, the debris doesn't fall on anyone? Izuku simply threw a punch and smashed the cube, surprising some. Not bad, kid. Smiling, Vlad King. The others also said something, but I won't write it if it doesn't get too long. I can also save things, taking out his wooden katana, but he was with demonic power. That's very useful. Boy somewhat impressed, Cementus. Yes, but for some reason I only leave certain things trying to save a piece of concrete. And so far what have you managed to get in? A little curious, Aizawa. This katana and 2 more swords. That comment made some teachers think certain things. Oh. Anything else, Izuku-kun? The other participants were freaking out, and Asa was only thinking about how amazing Izuku was while Todoroki showed a little interest. I think looking at his wing let me try something. Concentrating. In a moment, Izuku was sent upwards, leaving everyone there with their mouths open. I knew I could do it too, doing some maneuvers in the air. Izuku stayed a few seconds longer and then tried to go down, but noticed that since he had one wing he couldn't keep it moving, so he decided to maintain speed while plummeting. Damn, this is going to hurt watching as he approached the hard ground. But luckily for Izuku, Inasa used some air to make him fall more slowly. Oh, thanks, Inasa, standing up. You're welcome, Izuku-kun, smiling. Izuku approached Nezu and the teachers. I think I can fly, scratching his hair. Yes, but having only one wing can't sustain you well, not everything can be in your favor, can it? I guess well I think that's all. You may as well go back to the others. Izuku returned to the extinct line because the participants were already a bit on their own, even so they were attentive if they called him. Izuku approached Anasa, since he was the only one he knew apart from the son of hero number 2. The other participants passed until it was Todoroko's turn v. Izuku noticed that it was now Endeavor's son's turn, and as expected he went straight to the point and took out ice, but for some reason that he couldn't hear since the boy was half whispering something to the director. Izuku saw that after talking to the director, the son of hero number 2 left without showing his fire side, which made the green-haired boy think. Such a shit. As the first test started we arrived at the second, and now it was the participants' turn to do a series of physical tests using their quirk, and since I'm hating this whole part that I've written so far we're going to go through it quickly. I'm just saying that Izuku, Shoto and Anasa swept them, but before finishing this shit, we're going to an important moment or not just to fill in v. Test number X, Marathon v. Hey, it's Shoto Todoroki, right? Wow, you were amazing. Excited. Don't bother annoyed, I think he said that, I don't know. Todoroki walked away to a shocked Anasa. Don't bother with Anasa, he's been through a lot, said an Izuku who approached Anasa and was now at his side. And why do you think that? Very calmly. By her gaze. Her hair hid her eyes. His gaze turning to see the little one v. That's right, I'm not one to talk about these things, but well, for a long time I've also had that look. Something is making him very angry, but he knows he can't do anything so he can just endure it. Besides I think I know what his problem is after all, I think I have the same one too. Anasa would have asked, but this was something very personal to Izuku, so he decided not to ask. After that came the third test, which was a written exam. Izuku and Todoroki had no problems, but Anasa you can now get an idea of how much it cost. Later. After the exam, Nezu informed that next week he will send letters to the participants to find out if they entered or not, and after 1 month and 2 weeks, classes will begin. Anasa asked Izuku for his phone number to keep in touch, which Izuku accepted. 1 week later. We see an Izuku in his room. During that time he became friends with Anasa, they even fought once to see who was stronger, but it was interrupted by the authorities, although it didn't get to anything serious. Right now Izuku was on his cell phone wasting time until random ringtone. Anasa confirming the call. What's up? Curious. Did you get the letter yet? He looked a little serious. As it was today. No why? Love yes seriously. And how are you? Did you get in? Yes, but. What do you mean, but? Confused. What's going on? Anasa don't act so interesting. A little annoyed. I'm going to decline. Huh? Why? Serious and more confused. I don't know, I love you but something tells me not to go there. Is it because of Endeavor's son? Annoyed. I don't know, maybe yes maybe not, I just know I'm not supposed to be there anymore. Sigh. Well if it's your decision then it will be done, smiling bitterly. I'm sorry, I know I wanted it to be with you, but don't worry, one day we'll have our rematch. Happy. Well until happy. Izuku-sama has received a letter. Knocks on the door. Oh Anasa, the letter has arrived. Well, we'll talk later, by the way, congratulations. Congratulations. Confused. Come in. Hanging. Baldy getting up and opening the door. Sorry for the delay. It's okay, Izuku-sama, Tome giving him the letter. Thank you, you may go. Closing the door. Well, the time has come. Sitting on his bed. It was the same, but instead of Almight it was Nezu, and this is because Almight had just joined the academy, just in case, so that it wouldn't be leaked that the number 1 hero was in UAV. And I remember Izuku-kun goes beyond plus ultra. Happy V, that's how it was, right? The letter stopped projecting to the director of the UA. Okay, now it's time to wait 1 month and 1 week. End of the chapter. Information, some changes and other things. Hi, if it's not a cap, but I've been making some changes. Apart from that I want to ask you something about the fic. Well, first changes. As you can see, I've changed the cover photo and I think it looks amazing, right? Well, that wing is as good as V. It really cost me my life, especially the shades of gray and white, so that the image would not be lost with just black, apart from that horn that didn't want to come out. Here is the original image V. Well, apart from that I changed the name of the story, since that title didn't appeal to anyone XD, it was hard for me to choose, but in the end I decided on the one you see there because I think it works well for the story, right? Another thing I changed was the description. I saw that there were some errors. I already fixed them. I also added something in the last sentence. It's to make the story interesting. Well, in terms of information, it is the story that will stray the furthest from the BNA canon. Apart from that, I already have it finished in my mind and wow, what is coming, but the story will only get interesting much later. I mean, more or less, after the Stains arc is where it will move away, and that is where it will get really interesting. But as you can see, I still have a long way to go to get there. The fight between companions, the Ust arc, the sports festival. Stained, apart from things that I want to add and explore, like the friendship of Izuku and Todoroki and the relationship with Psycho. So I ask you something, do I make the story advance much faster, ignoring the other students and other important heroes and leaving the interesting part to reach the mega climax, or do you want me to keep it that normal and have more interactions with the other classmates from the first and other heroes like All Might and Endeavor? If Nico there is to get to the best part V. I'm not interested in that small talk, leave it like that D. I hope someone put something, otherwise it would be very sad. See, well, if no one puts anything, I'll think about it with my brother to see what decision I make V. Well, after that you surely have a doubt, and it is. Will Izuku have Ichigo stuff or something from Bleach? Not only does he have the Bankai mode suit, but if you want I can make some of his current 3 swords as fast as Zangetsu. Is that how it's written, right? XD. Well, I think I'll just leave you V. The son of the number 2 hero and my annoying fiancé. Person speaking, person thinking, action, place, time of everything, I don't know. 1 month and 1 week later V. Why the hell do I have to go so early? A little annoyed. You're upper class, Izuku-sama, so stop throwing tantrums and change. It's important to give a good image on the first day. You know V. Izuku just made a damn face and went to the bathroom. After taking a morning bath, Izuku dressed in his UA uniform. After changing, he went down to have breakfast with his family. Izuku hasn't noticed the incredible change in the atmosphere for a long time when the entire Midoriya family was sitting among them, the darkness in his brother's gaze. Sometimes he even noticed that his brother's eyes were on him and they weren't good intentions, although Izuku doesn't care if he wants to come fight, then let him come right. Later. Breakfast is always uncomfortable. Well, at least mom managed to break the ice watching something on his cell phone and the limousine took him. Imagine him in a limousine V. Izuku waited for about 23 minutes to get to the academy. Luckily, since he went very early, there weren't many students, so he wouldn't quickly stand out on the first day as the rich kid or something like that. Very well, Izuku-sama, I'll pick you up said the typical old butler. Oh no, don't worry, it's not necessary, I'm going to try flying home, I really don't want them to see me get into the limo. It's fine by me, but if Hisashi-sama or Inko-sama says to come, well, I'll call them. What do you say? Turning to look at Izuku. But Izuku was no longer there. UA hallways. Class 1A. Class 1A. Looking for his classroom. After a few minutes he found the living room, although the strange thing was that the door was huge. Well, that looks good, opening the door. Although Izuku arrived early, there were already 2 people there. He looks a lot like the cap of my quirk, my curse, sorry, I'm out of creativity V. One was a beautiful girl, her hair was in a ponytail, white skin, quite tall, although Izuku didn't know if she passed him since the girl was sitting, and she had good. Izuku stopped appreciating the sight of that girl when another tall boy with glasses approached him in a peculiar way. Izuku noticed that he just wanted to introduce himself, but he already knew who he was, the youngest son of a famous family of heroes for generations, Tenya Iida. Nice to meet you, I'm Tenya Iida from Samei High School. Shakes hands. The pleasure is mine, Tenya, I'm Izuku Midoriya from the Midoriya family, giving a smile and shaking hands. That last comment caught the attention of the youngest son of the Tenya family and the girl who was approaching the duo. Wait, what? Adjusts glasses. You're the youngest son of the Midoriya family. Surprised. You really are Midoriya, Izuku. Surprised. She's not surprised because she's interested in Izuku, it's just that Izuku was known for his quirks and they hardly knew he had a quirk B. Izuku noticed the girl was taller than him, although not by much V. Yes, I am, and you are staring Momo Yaoi Rozu from the you-know-what family V. Haven't we seen each other yet? Yes, I'm Momo Yaoi Rozu from the Yaoi Rozu family. Introducing herself. Hey, Izuku-kun. I'd like to know how you noticed we were from the Tenure Yaoi Rozu family, or at least mine. Well, first of all, I already knew who Iida was before he showed up. Well, the reason is very simple. Izuku said that there were many times parties with rich families including his. Izuku said that he didn't stand out much and couldn't leave the party, so to pass the time he memorized the members of the other great families. I see, that makes sense. Raising an eyebrow and looking at Iida. After that last thing the beautiful black-haired girl said, Izuku stopped paying attention to the strange things his classmate was saying and decided to sit in one of the free desks. Momo also did that, although Iida follows her to talk about anything. The place where Izuku sat is Sato's, and now Sato sits where Izuku was before. Izuku sat in the back and took a little nap, although after waking up he saw that there were more people, although the one that interested him the most was the one who just entered the room. Shoto Todoroki closing his eyes, the son of the number 2 hero, closing his eyes and lying down on the desk. The red-white-haired boy surprisingly sat next to our protagonist. Well, I guess it's either because I'm one of the few along with Momo who aren't making noise, or simply because I'm someone I know from the exam opening an eye to see the emo boy. I'll try something. Hello. Shoto just moved his eyes to the only visible eye he could see of Izuku. Do you remember me? I'm the one from the exam. You also remember the big guy, right? What do you want? Damn, the bald guy loved Endeavor, giving a smile and noticed that Todoroki trembled for a microsecond, but something happened and he currently hates him. Todoroki didn't say anything. When he saw you in the exam he wanted to talk to you because he thought you would be different, but it seems he was wrong. Shut up, annoyed. Izuku stands up straight. I see, you hate your father, right? Shoto just gave him a look that said it all. Hey, don't get mad, we're in the same boat, putting his arms behind his head. What exactly do you mean? Squints. I mean, I also hate my disgusting father, he's a complete hypocrite, he treats me badly, but since I got a quirk, now he tries to spoil me with shit or money or other things. Shoto looked at him with a somewhat complicated expression, even so he believed him, after all he knew the youngest son of the Midoriyas, of course not in person, but he saw him at parties or celebrations, and clearly he was not as loved as his older brother Izuku. Shoto could see that since he also had brothers who were not loved by his father. From your look I see that our problem is the same, but they are not similar in any way. Why was that hatred generated? Something like that, Sai. I think you already know, but I'm Shoto Todoroki. Well, nice to meet you, Shoto Todoroki. I'm Izuku Midoriya, giving a little smile and turning to see the son of the number 2 hero. Shoto gave a small smile. After that conversation, no one had any ideas for another conversation, but they were saved by a platinum movie or not. How strange to see you early, Izuku-kun, covering Izuku's eyes. He was wearing the UA uniform. Psycho leaves that, taking his hands off his fiancée and turning to look at her. Has it been a long time since Izuku got his quirk? One of the things that Izuku noticed when his quirk manifested was the change that Psycho had towards him. I mean, we went from a very bad relationship to something fairly neutral at the beginning of when Izuku had his quirk, and currently you could say that it was a good relationship. Even so, Izuku didn't love Psycho that much, and it's not because she wasn't attractive. God, Psycho was hot. But Izuku felt that they only got to this point because of his quirk and not because of him. So, even if she treats him better now, she won't be able to forget that feeling, and she won't forget how she treated him as inferior when he didn't have a quirk. So, I'm sorry, Psycho. If you really want to get somewhere, it would be okay to apologize for everything, right? Of course, I think I would do it too, but we're talking about Psycho. She's never apologized, after all, she's spoiled by her parents, so I can't imagine her apologizing. Hey, don't get mad, is this place busy? Asked by the guy next door, meaning the one from Uraraka. As far as I know, I haven't seen Todoroki for a second to wait for him to finish talking to the platinum girl V. Well then I'll just sit here and bother you, smiling. Not here, Psycho, I don't want the others to know, whispering. Oh, I see, I'll keep quiet for now. Yeah, sure, in a bit I'll reveal it to the whole room. Who is she? Rolling her eyes at the platinum-haired or albino girl or whatever the hell you want to say, V. She's my fiancée, my father is forcing me to get married, so don't tell anyone, whispered. I see you're so unlucky, Izuku. How lucky that my father still doesn't think about my offspring, a little nervous. After that, another 20 minutes passed in which Izuku tried to talk to Shoto to know a little more about him, but his fiancée wouldn't let her. But just as the last classmate arrives, a guy appears who seems to have been drunk all night. I'm your teacher, Shota Izawa, and Gestito with a shit face. So this is not going to be boring like in high school, smiling. By the way, his teeth are pointed like Hiroshima's, to give him a more shark-like appearance, okay, not just to give him more personality. Sorry for just saying V. I know it's very sudden, but put this on and wait for me in the courtyard, showing the UA sportswear. X time later. These clothes again, touching and seeing the blue UA clothes. Well, not to make it long, Bakugo come here, calling the student who got the best position in the normal exam V. Izuku saw who called, it was an ash blonde boy, he seemed crazier than him, and he certainly showed it by telling the ball to die. 705.5 meters. Interesting, I guess, although this is very similar to the exam tests for recognition. Izuku noticed his teammates were getting excited and was about to join them until. It seems fun. I think it's dark and deep. Whoever comes in last place in all the tests will be considered useless and will be expelled, giving a little smile. The students were surprised, some were even scared. After all, it was the first day and they already had it difficult, although for some this was not a problem, like our protagonist who was smiling. Well, it was definitely a good idea to come to UA. Looks like I won't be bored like I was at that shitty school. Cracks knuckles, is that right? End of chapter. Training match. UA Academy patio, other things I think I'll stop posting images and it's because of lack of time V, at most one or another, but it won't be like before V. Although he was encouraged by the situation in which he and his classmates were quickly put out his fumes since if they would kick someone out of the room, but almost all the exercises that his sensei sent were the same as the recommended exam. He spoke with Todoroki and Psycho, and they all agreed that this was very boring, even so they did what their sensei asked them, since he did not want problems on the first day, and how not both him and his friend. Well, he just met him a while ago, and they already talked about things that are not spoken about lightly, so if he could already say friend they stood out with their quirks after all one possessed ice and fire while the other darkness. And he had a wing. Damn, having a wing certainly impresses anyone. Izuku noticed that almost the majority knew him and was surprised that with the bad things he was known and said in public, they spoke to him normally. Without a doubt this a beautiful discovery since he thought he had to go back to ignoring all his classmates like when he was in school. Well, these are your scores showing a holographic board. I'll be honest, I'm writing this without having seen that chapter of the tests again V. Izuku noticed that he was placed second which wasn't bad, but he really wasn't interested in this test, so as soon as he heard the laughter of a blonde saying that it was obvious that he was going to place first, as well as that of a boy with hair in the shape of grapes, shouting to do what he wanted and placed last, he decided to leave, followed by Psycho who placed ninth and by Todoroki who placed third. That blonde guy looks like a screaming moron walking down the halls. Something like that but obviously with a sports uniform and without injuries or anything like that. For me they are not so different Izuku-kun, I don't remember if Psycho called him in a special way, putting his hand on his mouth. You must be joking, right, Psycho? He and I look alike. Are you really out of your mind? Turning around a little to see Psycho, who had her eyes hidden by her hair. You're playing with fire, dear Izuku. Todoroki saw this with some grace, although it didn't show much, after all he never had friends, he only had his brothers and his mother. After arriving at the classroom, their sensei asked everyone to state their names, after that he informed the students about the schedule and those things that no one was interested in. Later. We see Todoroki right at the entrance of his house, he seemed very thoughtful, but suddenly someone opens the door surprising Todoroki a little. So you're here yet? Crossing his arms V. He wore normal clothes V. In front of Shoto was none other than the number 2 hero, his father Enji Todoroki. I've already arrived from the academy suddenly calming down. Very well, without a doubt they will prepare you very well to become a hero and remember not to join the others as they will make you weak leaving the Todoroki house. Yes, her hair hid her eyes. Around the Midoriya mansion. Well, I've practiced it before so there shouldn't be any problem starting to slow down. We see Izuku flying at high speed, being close to his house, more specifically in the surroundings of this same one, the green-haired man who was now half green-haired, half black thanks to his quirk. Pointed at his enormous patio, starting to slow down Izuku manages a decent landing, although the part of the grass where he fell would have deteriorated. Are you okay, Izuku-sama? Worried. The butler and a maid who were nearby to see what Izuku did approached to see if the young master had any injuries, of course keeping some distance seeing Izuku's quirk. If I'm okay deactivating his quirk well I'll be coming like this for the whole time I'm at the academy, so let the others know and especially Suri, so they don't get alarmed every time I come back okay. Starting to move. Of course Izuku-sama. To the butler and maid. Izuku was approaching to enter through one of the many back doors that the Midoriya house had, but a voice interrupted him before entering. What are you doing coming in like that, young man? Serious voice but forcing a smile. Turning around, Izuku sees a beautiful woman who seemed to be about 24 years old, she was 1.70 tall, she had beautiful white skin, long, silky purple hair that reached her knees, beautiful lilac eyes that matched her hair, she wore a maid outfit but she was different from the other maids. It would be too lazy to describe her more, so imagine her with a more striking outfit, and that's it. Character information, how tacky Suri has no last name since she was found by Inko on the streets, quirk. Clones. She can create 10 copies of them that can do anything that other normal people can do, she can also create clones of other people by being in contact with that person. The bad thing is that her clones are created with her body fat, so Suri eats more than normal. Another negative thing is that the clones and she have no way of transmitting information making her not know what her clones do. This also affected the clones she makes of other people, that's why Suri does not know anything about the conversation that Izuku's clone had with Izuku's. Suri was the leader of all the butlers and maids, she made sure everything worked out well before getting her quirk. she was much colder with him, but thanks to the help of her disgusting father, now everyone, including her, try their best to keep him as a tool for their family and thus raise the prestige of the Midoriya family even more when he becomes a hero, meaning more money equals a beautiful life, although without a doubt her father has become a very idiot. Do you really think he will forgive them? Buck that hypocrite. At most he would forgive his mother and Izuku. Hello Suri, giving a really fake smile. Although Izuku didn't like the change that everyone had when he got his quirk, he had to maintain a little respect for Suri. After all, she was one of Inko's 2 protégés and a great source of information for Mother, and he certainly didn't want to be punished for a silly act of disrespect. I see you've already arrived from the academy. Looking at his right side, I see that you're improving the control of your quirk. Even so, isn't it worth it to interfere like that? Besides, you don't have permission to use your quirk. If someone saw it, they would easily give your father a fine, and nobody wants that like that. Serious, but returns it with a forced smile. I know, that's why I went at such high speed. People would have just seen something dark in the sky. Putting his arms behind his head. The leader of the butlers and maids just gave him a blank look. Do you really think everything will be that easy, Creo? Sweating. Well, I have to go. I want to have lunch and then train a little. Entering the mansion. Later. After having dinner with his beautiful family and as his father threw flowers at him, Izuku went straight to his room. The first day was more boring. The only good thing was meeting the son of hero number 2 and nothing else. Now with his pajamas, which were simply green shorts with a white shirt, Izuku proceeds to sleep because he had nothing else to do. The next day. What the hell are you doing here? Izuku sat outside the Midoriya mansion, right at the door. In front of him was his beloved fiancée wearing the UA uniform. A little behind the platinum-haired girl was the head butler who took him to the academy yesterday. What? Can't your fiancé go with you to the academy? Psycho said with a bright smile. Remember the UA uniform? Come on Izuku-sama, don't be like that. The beautiful Psycho-sama was waiting here for you. You should be more grateful to her. Opening the limousine door. Okay, let's go at once. The last thing would be to arrive at the time that everyone arrives to see us get out of this limo. Entering. Oh dear Izuku, you should stop getting angry over anything, otherwise you'll get wrinkles. Putting a hand over his mouth so his giggle wouldn't be seen. Sorry if I repeat this action, but I don't know much about these things. Much later. Although nobody was bothering him, Izuku noticed a few glances from his class. Of course, apart from having shown off yesterday, he was the son of the number 3 hero. Luckily for the green-haired boy, he was used to the glances so he didn't get nervous. Apart from that, he wasn't the only one getting the glances since people like Iida, Momo, Psycho and that boy who was first place also got the glances. And of course Todoroki went quite unnoticed thanks to the fact that his father Endeavor never showed him to the public, and for the youngest son of the Midoriya family, he didn't understand much this action of the fire hero. After having some moderately interesting classes thanks to his teachers, Izuku managed not to fall asleep, but he was undoubtedly waiting like everyone else in his classroom. Me? I'm walking through the door like a normal person opening the door. It's Almight. Super excited, Dinky V. Oh finally, damn what I was waiting for, making a huge smile with his. The number 1 hero began to talk about some basic things about heroes and what would be done on this day. Combat training. Striking a super pose. Training. Attentive, the Todoroko. Of combat. He kept smiling. And that's what these things are for. Pointing at the wall. As he pointed, some capsules started to open. I still have no idea what that's called. Specialized outfits for their quirks, aside from the requests they sent before the academy started. Watching all the capsules come out. After you get dressed, find me at Zone B of the entrance exam. We see All Might waiting at the door, but just as you start to see the students of class 1 wearing their suits. They certainly look great. Looking at her students' outfits. Izuku was already there because if you know me thanks to the clone hero, you should know that I think it's stupid that Izuku appears last. I see you had the same problem as me looking at Todoroki's outfit. I couldn't think of anything for the damn outfit, but thanks to you know who pointing at Psycho who was smiling next to him, I managed to create something interesting. Looking at her outfit, Psycho was wearing that outfit she always wears. Well, if you didn't notice on the cover, the outfit Izuku wears is Ichigo's in the Uraraka full arc. The only difference is that at the bottom he wears bandages to cover his torso. Oh, and other things. I've searched the wiki and I can't find a description of Ichigo's outfit. Don't you think it's too sophisticated for you? Seeing the black set with bandages that the green-haired man had. If you're right, I'll come up with something to make it more my style. Putting his hand on his chin. After that little conversation, Izuku and Todoroki decide to stop talking to listen to Almight, who was talking about fights in internal areas or inside structures. Another thing he said is that the room will be divided into 2 sides, the heroes and the villains will be teams of 2. Well, you already know the rest, so let's get to the interesting part. Wow dear, it was both of our turn getting too close to Izuku. Damn, what was missing whispered. Some of his companions looked at the duo with some confusion, dear. Because they seemed so close. Sensei lets me talk. Very stressed, Momo. Of course young lady Aoirozu making her smile. I think I'm not the only one who has noticed that there is a team with 3 members, since we are 21 students, some team will have an advantage, which in this case is the team of my classmates Kirishima, Ida and Bakugo, while the others will only have 2 looking at their teammates. You are absolutely right, young Aoirozu, for a team of 2 it would be very disadvantageous, that is why one of the 2 teams that contain the reconnaissance teams will fight with a team of 3, that is, Izuku and Saiko's team, Momo and Todoroki's team. I lose, I am changing the teams a lot, but I think no one is interested Here I would put a really cool image with Saiko, Izuku, Momo and Todoroki, but how lazy I would like to see with my own eyes what those who entered through recognition can do. After all, they were allowed this luxury because they had superior skills. And as a teacher, I would like to know their level so I can help them later. Of course, it all depends on whether you agree. Looking at the 4 who entered like that. Their classmates looked at the 4 of them closely, after all they were supposedly the best in their class, making a certain ash blonde get upset. I have no problem closing my eyes. Todoroki was interrupted by Izuku's raised arm. Sorry Todoroki, but this is my fight making a challenging smile to the team of 3. Kirishima, being the good man he was, returned the smile. Ida adjusted his glasses to appear serious, and finally Bakugo was thirsty to fight with that green-haired boy who thought he was superior to him, or at least that's what he thought. Very well. The first teams that will fight will be Team A versus Team J. A will be the heroes, while Team J will be the villains. Those mentioned go to your positions, the others go to the surveillance room. Hi. As Todoroki left, he turned to see Izuku starting to advance towards his position. And remember not to join with others as they will make you weak. I will not be your stupid tool. I will live my life, meeting many people and making friends. I will help those I can, and above all I will become a hero without using your power father determined. We see Izuku happily walking towards the position that All Might sent him until Saiko grabs him by the ear. There, ah. What are you supposed to be doing Saiko? Grabbing her ear. What are you doing? I'm your partner annoyed. And? Blank stare. What do you mean, and? You know what you got us, US. Into. A little hysterical. Hey, calm down, don't you remember all this under control? Those 3 don't know how to fight, but I do, and with your help we'll win easily, so calm down, and let's go. Tearing his right sleeve, can you get an idea from the image that this is on the cover? Ag. What am I supposed to do? What are you doing with the suit I designed? Confused and shocked. It was very elegant, right? We have to give it a personal touch. Besides, I think that when I activate my quirk, that whole part would start to destroy, right? Smiling. You. Idiot getting dangerously close to Izuku. Well, let's start the training match between Team A and Team J. Okay, if you want, yell at me later. Now let's concentrate. Looking at the huge building. Okay, this time you're saved, but when this is all over you'll have to go on a date, okay? Smiling. Whatever you say, opening the door and concentrating. End of chapter 5. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.